The following preview has been rated bad by the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast. Please check out the full episode when it releases on Sunday. In the not-so-distant past of 1963, Baltimore is separated but not equal, and it is up to a plump and plucky young dreamer to bring the city together and show the light on the corruption that is run rampant behind the scenes of the Corny Collins show.
Hairspray.
I'm Nicho.
And I'm Chris.
And this is our second preview.
Yeah.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Hairspray.
What can we say about Hairspray?
It's bad.
It is bad. It's very, very bad. The music's good, though.
Yeah.
3 of the songs are good.
In my opinion, the 3 of the songs are good. I mean, I didn't know anything about this movie going into it, and
I think most people were like that.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I know the musical did very well.
Yes.
But this was one of your picks.
It was.
And
I had a reason behind it.
I know you did.
And the reason was it was bad.
Well, and I mean, for someone who doesn't go into musicals normally.
Yes.
I went into this one not knowing anything. Delighted I found some interesting stuff out of it, but
yeah.
I don't know. There's just so much about this movie that misses the mark. Like, it just, it tries a little bit too hard and just misses.
Yeah.
Especially with all its, what's the term? The messages it was going for with the body positivity, the integration.
It felt like they had some really strong potential. Like, there's some really good plot points in there. There's some really good story elements that could have been in there. But it was mostly an awkward mash of famous people who had really no business being in this movie.
Oh, no, not at all.
And, like, a really watered down interpretation of what was a fun, campy movie.
Yeah, well, and even then, so like, I wouldn't even consider the first one the original campy. The original one was absurdist in a lot of regards.
Definitely.
But that's what made the first one so quirky and charming, and that's what it is. This one tried too hard to be quirky and interesting.
Yes, without actually being quirky in any way.
Yeah, the only real, I guess, quirky part of the movie is Travolta in a fat suit. Which
just came off as poor taste.
Poor taste in the fact that, yeah, it didn't sit well with the LGBTQ community because Divine did the original portrayal of Travolta's character, Mrs. Turnblad.
And honestly, did a much better job.
Much better job. And I talk about it a little bit more in our main episode, but there's just, it doesn't fit with what they were going for, especially with the casting of Tracy as a bigger woman.
Yeah. And
Queen Latifah as well, as not the trimmest woman we've seen. She's not big by any means, but...
No, but she's not the super skinny pageant queens that are in the rest of the movie.
Yeah, Travolta just feels like an odd pick because Travolta is in better shape.
And also, Travolta lacks that drag queen-esque quality that really made that character feel wholesome and having that depth without having a whole lot of backstory.
Yeah, exactly.
Travolta needs he wasn't the right pick. He wasn't the right pick. And that kind of explains the whole movie.
Yeah. No, and yeah, I don't know. It's hard to go into detail without ruining some of our points in the main episode, but
yeah, that's true.
It's bad.
It's very, very bad.
And we bitch a lot about it. I mean, it's
bad despite the fact that this movie had such a stronghold on people.
God.
People loved this movie, and I do not understand.
I don't either.
I don't get it. This is one of the ones that I don't get. And I like bad movies.
We both like bad movies. Hell, I was talking to Redhead Gamer about a new movie I have to find at some point called Cherry Falls. It's about a serial killer who targets virgins.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
But it's right up both of our alleys of movies to watch.
I do want to watch it, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And this one doesn't hit that mark. And
no, it's a sadly soulless.
Yeah, and I love absurdist comedies and stuff.
Oh, me too. And I love musicals. I love a nice fluffy high school style musical. This one just does, it's neither truly fluffy nor is it like properly soulful.
High School Musical, you say?
Was a good fluffy musical. It was fun. It was like it was like reading a short story.
Okay.
This one feels like a terribly reinterpretation of a story.
It is a drag without the drag.
Yes. This is a drag show done by straight men.
No. The director is very not straight.
Which makes no sense to me on how this movie is so bad. Like, this has all the... Like, on paper, this movie should have worked phenomenally. The director had experience in this area. The acting talent was not supposed to be an issue.
Yeah.
Everyone was talented. The writing staff, we talk about the other works that they've done, and like we like their other stuff.
Yeah.
It's just somehow this didn't, like, the stars were not aligned that day.
No. I don't think anything was aligned in this movie.
No, really wasn't.
Nope.
I don't understand how. Because, yes, on paper, all of the elements are there for a great movie.
Yeah.
A great musical.
I don't even think... On paper, the paper is the issue.
The paper is the issue.
There is nothing good written in this movie. Well, scratch it. There's a handful of little quips here and there that
yes.
I like, but...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very... It is strange having all of these elements that, like, if you read the cast list, you're like, wow, that's a lot of talent. If you like listen to the soundtrack, you're like, wow, the soundtrack's good.
Yeah.
It starts on a good song, it ends on a great song,
yeah.
and there's a handful of fun songs, but not necessarily memorable in the middle.
Lots of crayfish.
A lot of crayfish.
Or crustaceans.
It has an interesting protagonist on paper. The plot should be good. I mean, we have two very important topics that we could be talking about in this movie. We have segregation and body positivity for a high school girl.
I'm saying into the interesting protagonist.
We could have had one, and instead we got this.
Yeah.
The elements were there. I don't know, they weren't in the oven long enough or something.
Yeah. It's very half-baked in my opinion.
It is terribly underdone.
But yeah, so that's our initial thoughts. Check us out on Sunday and get the full scoop on
the full bitch session.
Yes, it is a fun time. So.
It is a fun time. Despite hating this movie, I enjoyed bitching about it.
I did too. But this has been the good, the bad, and the weird previews.
Thanks for listening.
Peace.